hello. I thought I'd just pop in, have a little bit of an update, and say hello, as opposed to all these clips that I'm putting up, and let you know what's going on, let you know what I'm doing, let you know what I'm up to, let you know where we are so far. So a bit of a main update, really, is what we can call it. So let's see. Total value of debts paid off so far, somewhere in the region of about 45,000, maybe even a bit more than that. So that's not too bad from being dead and buried. We've also done pretty well with, well, we're going to keep to that update first. So how's that going? I'm not getting inundated with people now cashing in and wanting to settle this or settle that or one thing and another. So I imagine that I'm, slowly getting to the end of the ones perhaps that I'm going to be settling in that way. I don't know how many more people will come forward and say, yeah, all right, I'll settle in that way or whatever yet. But I think we've done a lot of the biggies. I haven't done them all. I mean, I have got a couple of big investors still left out there that I've got to deal with, and a few odd smaller investors, but most of them settled. In case there's investors out there wondering, well, how many of us are there left in it then? The ones that have left their money in. Probably not that many. I'm going to have a little count up and see how many there is left in the pot, as it were. I was talking to one of you last night, and quite happy to just leave it where it is. They know I'm not going anywhere. It was rather nice. They called me a gentleman, and said that they would leave it in, and they're not worried. And I think that's mainly because I've not gone anywhere. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here, facing whatever I've got to face. Okay, so that takes care of that. Then let's move on to the shares. So the shares is .com is sold out. And Royal Mint TV and Royal Mint.news and changetecher.org, I think, are all over 50% now. They're not sold out, but they're over 50%. You'll know when they're sold out because I'm going to bring another one out. And the next one I bring out will be priced at 25 quid, but it will still be on the same ratio. So somebody putting 100 quid in still has the same return of 5 grand, potentially. So let's talk about this for a second, because there is, this is one hell of a question, isn't it, really? It's like you throw that out there to debate, and there are, it's almost like a split down the middle. There's half of you, half of all of us, that will go, not a chance in hell, not a chance is that ever going to happen. And there's another half that are, or a percentage of people, maybe not half, maybe I'm in the minority, that think the same way I do and think, actually, that's not a bad idea, because it could happen. So I think we ought to put a bit of a time limit on this. I know I said, and I still mean it, as far as I'm concerned, I'll fight them forever. I'll fight them for as long as I've got breath in my body. If that means 10 years, that means 10 years. If you're watching this Ian Glenn Royal Mint, if I live to be 84, like my dad, that's another 30 minus 3, 27 years. Ain't it? No, it ain't. We're in 2020. No, I'm 57. So it's another 27 years. So if I live to be as old as my dad before I pop my clogs, which is probably not likely, then I will be hammering away at you for 27 years. That goes without saying. That's said and done. That's just, it will never change because I will never, ever, ever let that go. It cost me too much. It hurt me too much. So that goes without saying. However, you can't expect everybody to go, yeah, that's all right, I'll just keep throwing 100 quids at this, and yeah, it don't matter, you take 27 years, you take the rest of your life, that's all right. you can't really, you can't expect people to sort of sign up to that, can you? I mean, it's... So I was thinking about that this morning, and I was thinking, you know what, we need to put a bit of a time limit on it. Now, I think, under the present circumstances, even though we went to the cleaners, and even though we sort of got out of immediate trouble at the moment, could I still go under? Yes, it's possible. Yes, I can still go under. Am I going to get out of trouble and get on my feet? I think I've got a chance of doing that within 18 months. And I think an 18-month window for something like that, something like this, 18-month window to get out of trouble, I don't think that's too much. And I don't think that's too much for me to have to ask, and I don't mean this to come across anal or arrogant or rude, but I don't think that's too much to ask the people that can't or won't settle their investments or debts via goods. I don't think it's too much to ask to say to them, look, okay, to say to you, okay, look, maybe in about 18 months I can be out of trouble, and then I can be back on to settling people the way I want to settle them. Faced with that, or the fact that it was all gone. So I think if I can do that, if I can get out of trouble in 18 months, I think I would have pulled something off. I really do, and I will pat myself on the back and give myself a good pat on the back and say, well done, Ian boy, and give myself a little gold star. If I can accomplish that, I think that will be a job well done. So I'm thinking, well, fair's fair. We ought to put some kind of a limit on this, really. A limit on bringing them to the table. Because a limit on bringing them to the table isn't necessarily the same limit of my personal against them, whatever, So if I'm going to carry on doing it for 27 years, that's my beef to have, isn't it? You can't make people wait that kind of length of time. That's silly. Silly. So, I'll be the first one to admit that thought is silly. So, and I know I said when I first started selling them, I said, look, just look at it that you're throwing away 100 quid or you're throwing away 30 quid. Just look at it like that. Just look at it that you're going to throw that away and you're never going to get a return. And then, if you do that, you know that you're not expecting nothing. And then, if it works, at whatever time in the future, result, touch. Dancing around the living room then. But still, got to think about it sensibly. So I think we ought to put a time limit on it. And I'm thinking 3 to 5 years max. I'm really sort of hedging towards 3 years. I'm wanting to put a limit on it of, say, 3 years. So, if I haven't brought them to the table in 3 years, that's by 2023, let's give myself a little bit, say a little few months extra time, and let's say, where are we now? We're in 2020 now, and it's now July. So let's say the 2020, now 2021, 2022, 2023. So let's say the end of the year, 2023, which will be, what would that be? That'll be like 3 years, 6 months-ish. So let's say that we're going to put a time limit on it of the end of 2023. That's the time limit we'll put on it. Excuse me. Now, I could be shooting myself in the foot here, because of course we all know Ian Glenn, Royal Mint, they're going to be watching this, and maybe they're going to just now breathe, go, oh, what a touch. Did you hear that? Oh, he said if we don't get us to the table in 3.5 years, he's going to forget it. Oh, all we've got to do, keep him at bay for 3.5 years. That's all we've got to do. Right, lads? Keep him at bay. Right? Don't get over holding any arguments with him. Let's not do... And then after 3.5 years, it will go away. That's what I'm saying, basically. And I'm letting him know that. I'm letting you know that, and you're sitting there and you're thinking that. Touch. But this can be a good thing. I think this would be a good thing for you, and it'd be a good thing for me. I like targets. You know, you've got to have a bit of pressure. I don't want pressure as in stress, but you've got to have a bit of pressure. You've got to have a bit of a target to go to, and we've got to know where the finish line is. You know, if you're going to win or you're going to lose, let's have a finish line. Let's not just leave it open-ended for the rest of Ian's life. I could live to be 100. Doubtful. I probably won't reach 70. But still, you get where I'm going with this, right? So let's have a time limit on it, so that you've got a chance to invest in it. You've got a chance to go, look, I'm going to, you know, I know it's not open-ended now, and I know that if he doesn't do it within this time frame, then he's going to sort something out. And I will sort something out, as in give you a return, because obviously the money will have been spent. I'm spending that money on clearing and settling and one thing and another. So obviously that won't be there. So what I will, because any money that I sell on the shares, because there's nothing to buy with that, you know, I own the shares, then I'm using that money wisely on other things. So what was I going to say? So this way, you know, you've got a bit of an end game in mind. You've got a bit of an end goal. You've got a bit of a target yourself, right? And those of you that buy into this idea, do something. Imagine we are all of those red Indians on horses riding around, right? And we've got change checker in the middle there. And we're going, woo, 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 and they're in the middle, right? Now, when you've got that teamwork going on, people don't just bugger off and do their own thing. You don't see them getting off horses, the Indians, and going and sitting on a rock going, well, I'll let everybody else do it. I'm just going to sit here and I'll just enjoy the sun, and there's a bit of a battle going on over there, but they don't need me, so I'll just, right? They don't do that, do they? They're all in there, fatum, throwing the things, bang, bang, they're all there, right? So, what's needed is for any of you that have bought into this idea, whether you've bought into it cash, whether you've bought into it off the deck, whether you've bought into it because you've won it in a raffle, or you've won a voucher and you've used it towards it, whatever you've done, right? If your name is on any of the shares that I've got in there, your name on any of those shares, that means that as daft as I look, and as silly and plankish as I am sometimes, it means that there is that little tiddly tiny, right, wincy, 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 little bit of a, in the back of your mind, going, yeah, but it could happen, I could get paid. And if it happened, and if I did get paid, whoa, there's that little wincy, 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 wincy bit there. Otherwise, your name would not be on that sheet of paper. You're either there with me, yes, I believe it, or you're helping me out, and therefore it's not because you believe it so much, but because you're helping me out, but there's still a little bit of belief there. If your name is on one of those shares, it means that you have even a little tiddly tiny bit of belief, right? So, you can make that stronger. You can do that. Not me, you. I'm going to do all my work, but you can make that stronger. And how you make that stronger is you can just turn that little pressure tap, just that little bit more. Because I'm not the only one under pressure here. Ian Glenn is going to be under pressure, and he's going to be under pressure now. Now I've set an end date, he's going to be under pressure for 3.5 years. For 3.5 years, I am going to fight tooth and nail to get them to the table. After 3.5 years, I'm going to be approaching 61. I think that's time to call it a day, as far as that's concerned. And then I will probably just spend the rest of my life bitching about them on videos. I'm probably not selling anything, because I'll have probably just done it all by then and give it all back and settled all the debts and settled all the investors. And then just sold off whatever else I've got, more than likely. I can't see realistically that I'm going to be still doing all of this, coins and everything else, illness, all of that when I'm 65, 70. Let's get serious, you know what I mean? So 3.5 years, there's your time. You turn a little bit of that pressure tap up. You can do that, and I'll tell you how to do it. You do it by making comments. Chances are you're into the coins, otherwise you wouldn't be on the shares. Chances are you're into the YouTubers and the coin tubers and all that kind of stuff, right? You join coin groups, you're in coin groups. Let people know that you've got shares. Let them know. Leave a comment on Change Checkers videos. Because the one thing they can't stop you doing unless they block you is leaving comments. Leave a comment. Say, I've got a share in this. Is there any chance you're going to get to the table? Ask them the question. Get it out there. Don't be hiding behind it thinking, I hope this works out. But, you know, it's like, whoa, let's just chuck it out there. Let's get them knowing. Let's stir it up a bit. Because they need to know. It needs to be in front of them. You don't want anybody saying, oh, we didn't know. You want to make sure they know. Because you want them at the table fast as possible. Out of everybody, you actually want them to come to the table faster than any person alive. You do. Because you got an interest in that. Because the moment they get round that table, suddenly your shares start to become worth money. The moment they get round the table. Ching, 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 ching. That's how it's going to go. And they will have no choice at some point. They will have no choice, because over the next 3.5 years, the damage that I will be able to do is unbelievable. The amount of people that will type in to Google, for example, in their thousands, people will type into Google Royal Mint coin when they're looking for coins. They're looking for a Royal Mint coin, they'll type in Royal Mint coin. It's a natural thing to type in to Google, think about it, Royal Mint coin. When you want to get Royal Mint's email address, what's the natural thing you're going to write in? You're going to write into Google or Ask Jeeves or whatever search engine you use, DuckDuckGo, whatever it is. You know, try and use things like that instead of the Google and all of that, because they're bought and paid for. Places like DuckDuckGo and that. So anyway, what was I saying? So you type into there, you type in, if you want their email address, Royal Mint email, wouldn't you? Well, I own that, royalmint.email, and I own Royal Mint coin. I own that. So it's not just about the royalminttv.com and the Royal Mint and changechecker.com and all of that. It's about all of them together. There are so many of them. I've started listing them all, letting you know what ones I own, all the rest of it. Even their names, Anne Jessup, Martin McDade, Chris Hinson, Ian Glenn. I own all of those. They didn't want them, they didn't buy them, so I bought them. Now, the pressure will come on. There's an awful lot of people that type in Ian Glenn into Google and, you know, Chris Hinson. Think about their families. The families type it in. Oh, look, Uncle Chris. This is going to be immense. They are, what I'm doing in such a public way, and in a way where I am going into battle with my adversary, and I'm not only going to go into battle with you, but this is how I'm going to battle you. I'm going to do this over there, and I'm going to do this over there. I'm being really fair with you. This is how I'm going to battle you. I'm letting you know my battle tactics. That's how confident I am that I'm even going to tell you my battle tactics. And the battle tactics are, one by one, to get those domains up and running. Now, it all takes a little bit of money because there's got to be SEO on each one and all that. So that when people do type in Royal Mint email, they don't just get the Royal Mint come up, they get our website, royalmint.email, come up. And when people type in Royal Mint coin, they'll get royalmint.coin come up. And when people type in Change Checker, they're going to get changechecker.org, change-checker.org, changechecker.com, changechecker TV, changechecker email, changechecker change checker, change checker, change checker. And they're all going to lead back to us, back to you. I say to people, if you've got a share in one, get a share in another. But even if you don't, everybody, you're all working for each other now. I'm working for all of you. You are also all working for each other. Even if all you've got is a sharing.com, changechecker.com, and you haven't got one in Royal Mint TV, or you have got one in Royal Mint News, but you haven't got one in this one. Even if that's a situation, right, the people that have got the shares in Royal Mint.news, any work they do is going to benefit the people that have got changechecker.com or Royal Mint.tv. Because any work that any of us do is all designed to do one thing and one thing only. There is only one focus. That focus is not to sell the domain names. That is not the focus. The focus is to force half a dozen people, half a dozen human beings, and that's all they are, is human beings. They're nothing special. Half a dozen human beings around the table. That is the focus. And all of the pressure that we put on is designed to do that and that alone. Bring half a dozen human beings around the table. That's all it's there for. Once they're around that table, then the shares and the websites, ching, 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 start to have a value. Because now we're negotiating. If they're around the table, ching, 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 they've got a value. If they're not round the table, they haven't got a value yet. The only value they've got is what we can use them for. So the value is to take money and business away from them. But the minute they get round that table, the second their arse touches that chair, ching, 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 those shares become worth money. And I don't mind them knowing that in advance. Because the faster they get round that table, the cheaper it is. So it's good that they know this now. It's good that you give them the link to this video. So it's fully explained to them if they haven't seen it. But the moment, the microsecond that the cloth on their arse cheek touches that chair, at that precise second, precise microsecond, ching, 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 the shares are worth money because they are there to negotiate. And that's all we got to do. It's all we got to do. That's what I do with my life. I dissect it all down. I just dissect things down. When I hit problems, when I hit things I need to do, I just dissect it down and go, what is it that I'm trying to do? What do I want to accomplish? Yeah, I want to accomplish selling the domains at £1 million each. Yeah, I want to accomplish that. But I cannot accomplish that if I spent £1 million advertising. I could not accomplish that. That is not going to happen. Nobody's going to come along and go, oh, I'll have that, I'll give you £1 million for it. They're not interested. Nobody wants to go into battle with the Royal Mint or Change Checker, so they're not interested. What gives them the value is getting their bums on those chairs. The moment their bums hit those chairs, ching, 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 we're negotiating. They have a value. And we start off at a ching. Whatever that ching is, we'll start off negotiating at a ching. And then it'll go ching, 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 until eventually, ching, 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 we finish at a deal. There's a deal, there's a price, and so on, for whatever it is that we're negotiating for. But you get the point now. I've gone on a bit too long there, but you get the point, right? It's really, really mega important. So the more pressure we put on, turning little taps on, anything that you can do, and even if you're not haven't got any shares but you want to help us, anything you can do, spread the word. Spread the word, post the links, let them know. Keep banging it under their chopses, let them know. Now, talking about banging it under their chopses, this brings me on to, you know, all this copyright business, right? I own Ian Glenn, what is it, ianglenn.co.uk? I own it, that's mine. And if I want to put up a web page with a picture of Ian Glenn that says, I am a Tommy Tanker, and I rip off my customers, I can do that. It's my money. I'll do that, or your money. I'll do that. If somebody else wants to go out there and they want to buy EMPLambert.co.uk and say Ian Lambert is a Tommy Tanker, who am I? I'm the subject of it, but this that was my choice to buy it. If I didn't buy it, they want to do that, that's up to them. Freedom of speech, free country, free world, all that. You know, we still, at this particular moment, live in the days where, still live under the rules where you can get a soapbox, a literal milk crate, and turn up at Hyde Park Corner and stand on it and start shouting to them, whoever. You can do that. It's legal, free speech. That Abu Hamza was there for years, stirring up all that hatred. Free speech. You've got to let people do what they want to do. If somebody wants to knock me, they can knock me. Just like if I want to knock him, I can knock him. Now, if I was running a £40 million company and I'd wronged that bloke, and that bloke puts up the website calling me a Tommy Tanker, well, and says, I'll take it down if you buy it off me, but you can buy it for £1 million. Well, I might look at that and think, well, either I don't care, say what you like, or if I care, I see what you've done, can't stop you, well done, you got me, here's £1 million, take it down. Do you know what I mean? It's there for sale. I don't have to buy it. If I want to buy it, I can buy it. And if I've got the money, maybe I would. You know, maybe we're all like that. If you've got the money, maybe you'd buy your way out of the embarrassment. So anyway, this thing about copyright and all the rest of it, I'm now getting into hot water with some of yous, right, and other coin tubers. Now let's have something right here. I'm just going to answer this, and that's it. And if people want to go on about it and cause a stink out of it and an issue out of it, well, that's going to have to be up to them. That's on them. That ain't on me. I am not a computer tech savvy person. I am a bloody Philistine. When it comes to tech, I am a numpty. I would not get offended if somebody called me a numpty. When it comes to tech, I'd go, you're right, I am a numpty, complete numpty at tech. And I know some of you older people, closer to my generation, are too. So I'm using this app. It's on my phone. It came with a phone, iPhone app for making videos, and that's what I make these videos on. And when I go to make a video, it comes up 2 choices: make a video, make a trailer. I always make a video. I've never bothered with a trailer. I did it 7 years ago, which 5 years ago I made one with Casper, and I never bothered again. And I've only just now started getting into these trailers, as you've seen. Now these trailers, and I was going to put them all in this video so you could see all of the 5 trailers, but no, if you want to see the 5 trailers, the videos are only a minute long and the trailers only come on for a couple of seconds. Go back and have a look at the ones I've just recently done, and you can see that they all start off with what's called a different sort of intro, right? Okay, so this app comes with 5 intros, 5. Choice 1 is Galaxy, another choice is a street lamp, another choice is those squares that go round like that, and coloured bars it's called, and another one is a start off with a dandelion, and another one is where you've got this picture of a swing, right? And somebody had a go at me over it, and Carrot Collects had a go at me over it, and we didn't have a go. Well, I thought he was having a go, and then he said he wasn't having a go, but now other people have joined in, you see. Now other people have joined in this little spat, and they're leaving comments. I don't see a lot of the comments that are left negatively, because I leave that up to a couple of people, and I can't ask them to do a job and then tell them not to do a job and do a job and don't do a job, and you're either asking someone to do a job or you ain't, and they're there to keep it clean. So I don't see most of the derogatory comments because they just take them off for me before I've even seen them. However, it started with a couple of comments from Carrot Collects. No, not digging at you, Carrot, at all, and he wasn't happy that I was using an intro that another coin tuber uses, apparently. Someone called Ahoy, Behoy, something like that, right? Now I forgive you, any of you, I forgive you for assuming, and remember, to assume makes an arse out of you and me. A-S-S-U-M-E, arse, you, me. Right, so to assume makes an arse out of you and me, as they say. But I can forgive you for assuming that I go and watch every video from every coin tuber because I keep up to date with what everybody's saying and what everybody's doing, because maybe I'm frightened about hearing someone say something about me or whatever. So I can forgive you for assuming that. However, you have to understand that I don't do that. I really, really don't do that. I've got people that help me, part of my team. They make their own coin videos, and I, selfishly, don't get a chance to watch them. I haven't got the time. There were 4 of us working from this address. There's now only 1. I am doing the work of 4 and more, because there's now more work. And I can't keep up with it all. So I don't. I do my videos, then I'll go back in there and I'll do something else, then I'll go and I'll do something else. And on it goes, then it's time to sit down and have dinner and watch telly and go to bed. So even the people that help me, I don't watch their videos, but I don't mean anything by that. So I certainly don't get the chance to watch CoinTubers videos. And even CoinTubers that I really like. I love Andy in the Cupboard, right? And I love Bungle. But I just don't get the time to watch their vids, you know? And just like there's people that they often say to me, don't get time to watch all your vids in. But this business about nicking people's intros and all the rest of it, whoever these people are out there, they don't own those intros. There are only 5 of them. And if you go down the road, and you've got to think about this logically, if you go down the road of going, sorry, no, you can't use that intro because Bungle uses that intro. You can't use that one. That's not fair, that ain't, because Bungle uses it. Oh, all right then. Won't use that one then. All right, I'll use that one. No, you can't use that one. No, because Mr. Ahoy Behoy, he uses that one. Can't use that. It's out of order, that is. Oh. All right then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. I'll use that one then. Oh, no, hang on. You can't use that one. No. Andy in his cupboard uses that one. You know where I'm going with this, right? So the minute you've got 5 CoinTubers that each chose one of those intros to go, I'm going to have that as my intro every single time, which of course they're entitled to do, of course. I'm not saying anything against that. You only need 5. 5 individual CoinTubers, and now what you're saying to me is I cannot use any of those intros. Can't use them. There's only 5. Ahoy Behoy, he uses one. Then you've got Bungle, he uses another one. Andy in the Cupboard uses another one. Somebody else uses another one. Dragon Lord uses another one. That's it. That's the 5. No one else is allowed to use intros. That means no one else is allowed to... No, you mustn't do... I mean, where do you want to draw that line? Maybe I shouldn't search £2 coins because Bungle searches £2 coins. Maybe Christopher Collects shouldn't be allowed to do coin searching on YouTube because I did it first before him. I did it 5 years before him. So maybe he shouldn't be allowed to do that. Maybe Total Coins shouldn't be allowed to do anything to do with coin tubing on YouTube because I did whatever he's doing before he did it. Do you see how silly that gets? Maybe I shouldn't use a picture of a £2 coin because Absolute Coins might use something like that. I mean, where do you draw that line? And then you've got people watching these videos now stirring it all up in the comments for people. Stirring it all up, going, no. You can't do that. The first way to wind me up is tell me that I can't do something that I can actually do. There's nothing wrong with me doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm not doing anything against anybody. I'm not trying to harm anybody. And someone wants to come along and tell me I can't do that. You might as well come round and knock on my house and tell me I'm not allowed to cut the grass. You might as well tell me that I'm not allowed to walk along the street dodging the cracks on the pavement. It's not allowed anymore. There's already somebody else that does that. What I will say is, if somebody wants an intro that nobody else has got, then make it your own. You know, like Bungle, he will do an intro, right? And that intro that he does and his bits and pieces that he does, what does it say? What's it say? It says, Bungle. Bungle. It's his. He made it. Or his son made it. Or somebody made it. It's not a free app. It's not freely available, that intro with bungle in it. It's not free on the iPhone app. It's made personal to him. Somebody mentioned again about, you know, what was wrong with your TGBCH intro. I haven't got a TGBCH intro. You give me far too much credit sometimes. I tell you what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. I didn't even know what you're talking about. And when you first started with the comments, I didn't even, like, who are you talking about? What is this? What do you even mean? I don't even understand. I didn't understand. What are you talking about? Who's that? I don't know. What do you mean I've nicked his intro? You got me in a panic. I thought I'd copyrighted something of somebody's. It's on a free app. There's only 5, and there's millions of people use the app. Millions. There's only 5. If 1 million people use the app, 997,997 of them, 999 of them can't use that app, that one intro, because somebody else is using it. And if anyone's got a problem with that, give me a ring. You know, let's have all that kind of spat on YouTube. Don't be telling me what I can and can't do, for a start. Don't be telling me what I can and can't do. That's as bad as Ian Glenn coming along telling me I've got to give him these domains. Don't be telling me I can't do something that I'm legally allowed to do because it's over there on the shelf for anybody to use, and I go and use it. Do you know what I mean? You might as well tell me I can't use a particular sponge to wash my car. So anyway, that's all I've got to say about that. So, I mean, I don't like all this blocking people and stuff. Let me tell you, if I had my way, nobody would be blocked. I would not block anybody, and I would let everybody say whatever they want to say, and I'll just answer them. I know. Sometimes I think that's what, you know, I mean, I'm saying this in jest in a way, but you know what I mean? I've half a mind sometimes, to phone up Warren and say, here, Warren, how about me and you have another fight? When when you've got controversy, people want to watch. You know, what can I say about that? I was only joking, by the way. That wasn't a dig at Warren. Not in any... so, it was probably in bad taste, and if it was, sorry. But you get what I'm saying. It's like, I don't want to get involved in having spats and arguments and things like that. I've got enough on my plate. Just please, you know, think about what you're saying. Think about what you're writing, people. Think about what you're writing. Because you go writing things, you know, you can really offend somebody or get people. I mean, I was in a mini panic for a little while. I was like, I must have spent over an hour on that. And for an hour, I was worried because, well, half an hour of that hour, I was worried because I couldn't figure out what I'd done wrong. And when I actually got to the bottom of it, and I kept asking for a link, no link was given. And when I got to the bottom of it, what did I find? It was a free intro. That's it. Okay, so you've had a bit of an update. Now you know where everything is. Bloody hell, 38 minutes. I bet this won't even upload. I probably won't put an intro on it. I ain't got enough time. So there you go. You've got an update. You know where everything is. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. And if you have watched this, it's because you've got an interest. You know. And if you haven't watched it, well, you don't even know I'm saying it. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.